one for you today. I am out fishing, but I don't actually expect to catch anything because this is the third time I've fished this lake, and I've blanked the last 2 times, and the last time I was here there was about 15 cormorants fishing, so I don't know whether it's really suffered this winter, and even if they're just around it's going to put the fish off. Although a good thing is there are none here today, although it has been really, really cold. Although in this sunshine it's actually quite nice, but there is snow forecast later. So we'll see how we get on. But what I'll do is I've got some footage of me exploring the upper River Beane, which obviously is an iconic angling river, or used to be, sort of 20, 30 years ago. There's some great articles written about it, like sort of roach fishing and that, and I mean not so much up as far as here, but I thought I'd go and have a look anyway, as we've got to stay local, we've got to fish local. I haven't really got anywhere other than this lake to fish, so it's a bit of a pain. And then I also went out to collect some float making materials out in the woods with my dad, because I haven't been able to find sort of any tough reeds, although there are a few stands of reeds here, so I might have a look at them a bit later. Anyway, so that's really the blog this week, so just to check that out, and hopefully there'll be a few tips and that about gathering float making materials, and a bit of interest about the River Beane. Guys, Andy the budget angler here. A very misty, wintry day, although the sun was supposed to be out today, and it is. There's kind of blue skies if you look out at this valley that I don't think you can just see it behind me there. Because so we're in lockdown 3 or 4. This one is you can go fishing, but you've got to stay local. And the place I've been fishing, although they weren't that far away, they are in the next town over. So I'm not going there. So I've come out sort of a bit of a recce really. I had a look on Google Map. Believe it or not, that little trickle there is the River Beane, which is quite a big river in Hertfordshire. It goes, I don't know where it bubbles out, probably not far from here, and then trickles down and becomes quite a substantial river down sort of towards Hertford, and it goes into the River Lee at Hertford. There's barbel and chub and all sorts in there. Getting a few funny looks. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Probably people aren't used to, well, I don't suppose people are used to someone standing there chatting to their phone anyway like this. Anywhere you go. But yeah, so that's it there. Not promising. It's crystal clear. There's another, it's a ford here, but it does go under the road. It must be culverted under. And basically you can see in that bit over there, I'll show you it in a minute, but you can see where there's actually sort of plants growing in there that aren't water plants. And I know a couple of years ago this dried out in the summer completely, so it was always going to be a bit of a chancy one if this was going to be anything worth looking at, because on maps it doesn't look too bad, and there's sort of this pool here looks all right, and then supposedly that way behind me there there's a big pool as well on the map, but it's all sort of overgrown. There is a public footpath that runs along it, so I'm going to have a wander and see what I can see. Well, there you go, guys. That's before it goes under the culvert, just where I was standing. And you can see right in the middle of the shot there, there's a bit of grass, and that's not like a water grass or reed or anything. That's like a tussock grass, I think. So I'm guessing that this was nothing more than the barest trickle very recently. I mean, there you've got dock leaves, and they do grow close to water, but I wouldn't expect to see them growing right in there where it's flowing quite fast. So this must be, the abstraction of all the water, probably for the Great Ashby development in Stevenage, if you're familiar with that, isn't that far from here, and that's probably abstracted a lot of water out of here. Because I did chat to someone who said that this used to be, it did used to hold minnows and small dace and things, but we're talking sort of 30 years ago. So I'm going to have a wander and see what I can see. Well, this is another spot. It's another ford. This one is actually running over the ford here. It actually doesn't look like a bad pool. There's like a mill pool above it, or looks like it might have been a mill pool at some stage with that like sluice thing there. But it's all private land. There's all signs up and fresh barbed wire. So I can see like ropes in the trees, and I know that in the summer this is like a really popular place for kids to come and splash around in and feed the ducks. As you can see, there are hundreds of ducks. So it's probably not looking particularly fishy at the moment, but I'm going to go and check out one more little spot. Morning, guys. Andy the budget angler here, just out and about. Not a fishing video. Apologies, I haven't managed any fishing videos the last couple of weeks, but what with the local restrictions, the only lake I can fish 13 quid a day, and I'm not paying that week in, week out, and I've blanked the last 2 weeks, so that's, money alone is annoying to say the least. So I'm out and about collecting float materials. I've nearly run out, so I'm just in my local woods looking specifically for teasel, elder and bramble, and if I can find any stands or reeds near any ponds, and that'll be a bonus as well. So just going to show you collecting that, and then how I process it, and then I'll do a second follow-up video where I make some floats out of it. Well, there you go, guys. There's a teasel there. Hopefully you can see that all right on the GoPro. This is ideal. It's a bit prickly, so you've got to be careful. But these, and this is all dyed back now, so this will be ideal. So I brought some scissors in a bag with me, so I'm just going to cut this down and harvest it. Right, guys, so we've had some teasel. Now I'm just looking for some brambles, and I just want to show you this here, if the GoPro can get in there. So what I'm looking for, this is like obviously a big stand of brambles there, and all this, because bramble doesn't really die that much during winter. It will in the very, very cold, but in a sheltered woodland it won't die off that much. So what I'm looking for are strands that have come up and then been cut at the bottom, and they remain hung up in the bramble. So you can see this much dark browner one running next to the green one must have been cut at the bottom down there somewhere, or died, and it's dried out. And because this is off the ground, it's going to be not relatively dry. It's nice and tough, and once you take the spikes off, will make quite good floats. So that's just something to look for when you're looking out for your own float making materials. Well, there you go, guys. A bit more water for you there. This little pond here, there's no fish in here as far as I know. This was we used to come over here when we were kids and catch frogs, newts, tadpoles, water measurers, you name it, any kind of bug. There's water scorpions in here, great diving beetle larvae, dragonfly larvae, caddisfly, you name it. We could get all the aquatic bugs out of here, and we absolutely loved it. I didn't know if this pond was still going to be here, but I'm really pleased it is. It looks like it has been being looked after by the council. It's got far more water in than it used to have when I was younger. We always used to wonder if there were ever any fish in here, although we were in here dipping with our nets all the time and never had anything, so it's unlikely. And judging by all the sort of bits of tree and that have dropped into it, it's not particularly deep, but it's a really nice memory to come back to. Well, there you go, guys. Hopefully that was reasonably enjoyable for you. Just shows you what I get up to when I'm not fishing, but still keeping me going for my fishing related activities. Didn't find much in the way of elder, although it's not really a hedgerow sort of wood, and I'm out with my dad, and he did point out that it's more of a hedgerow tree. So if you're looking for that, maybe check out your hedgerows. Just get out of the way of people on their bikes. Yeah, so hopefully that's been all right and you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys on the next one where hopefully I'll be fishing. Cheers, guys. Fish on.